Piet Levy, music writer for the Milwaukee Sentinel. We're here at Summerfest Weekend 2, here with Damon Joy and Eric Ernst, who have been covering several shows this weekend. We're going to talk about our favorites and least favorite for Weekend 2. Damon, we'll start with you. You had 2 Chainz. You said it was the biggest crowd of the U.S. Cellular Connection stage you've ever seen.
Yeah, people were spilling out everywhere. There was nowhere to walk. You couldn't, you had to go through the back to get out of there. It was just so packed. Even the front where the photography area, everything, packed, like just out of control. But he did a awesome job. I was really surprised. His breath control is out of control. Like he was up there for over 45 minutes, just no backing vocals, no hype man, nothing, just him. And some dancers and a DJ, and he killed it all night. Hit all the hits, even some like deep cuts. We got a couple in there too, but he killed it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's been like a decade since 2 Chainz has played here, so it's great that he finally came back for Summerfest. Yeah. What about for you, Eric? What was best thing you saw and the worst thing you saw this second weekend?
Yeah, this weekend, I wasn't expecting it, but I have to say Michael Ray, which I say I wasn't expecting it because for the first half of the show, it was just a standard issue, modern country show, nothing special, a band sort of going through the motions with a much smaller crowd than 2 Chainz had at the U.S. Cellular Connection. But then about halfway through, he stopped and he told the band to exit and said they've been on tour all summer with Lee Brice, where they're playing really short sets, and this gave him an opportunity to play more. So he said he wanted to play some stuff acoustic, and went through 3 songs of the artists that had influenced him. Played a Jody Messina song, Garth Brooks, Toby Keith, and then someone in the crowd held up a sign requesting one of his own songs, Picture, and he said, it's not on the set list tonight, but let's give it a try here. And he played it, and it was beautiful. It was one of those Summerfest moments that you wouldn't get otherwise. And he got to the end, and he said, I've never played that song, just me and a guitar before. So it took going off set or off script for the show to become really special, and it did, and I'm glad it was, and I wasn't expecting it to.
Oh, that's so cool. That's great. Was there anything that didn't live up to those standards?
So nothing on the artist's fault, but just one of those classic Summerfest things. Indigo Girls that same night, really great show, but they're right next to like a heavy rock act that's bleeding over, so you've got Gail next door singing A, B, C, D, E, F, U, while the, Indigo Girls are playing their, sweet vocal harmonies, and it's just one of those, like, maybe we don't book those next to each other, guys.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, absolutely. That's always a problem at Summerfest. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
So that's too bad it happened for Indigo Girls. I didn't see anything really terrible, but I guess my worst set out of default would be Machine Gun Kelly, which is actually kind of the biggest show here at Summerfest. Like 18,000 people were there. It's a huge, huge crowd. And he had that crowd in the palm of his hand. He's just a really great live performer. But he still has, even though he's a huge, huge star, he still has this huge chip on his shoulder still. He's still trying to make himself the underdog. And during the show, he had this 30-foot tall symbolism, metaphor for the internet, who was taunting him throughout the show, saying he was a poser, asking if he played guitar, and just kind of soured the whole show. I don't know why he still insists on doing stuff like that, but he does. As far as best, I'd say Avril Lavigne, who opened for him, was incredible. It was just a really great, really intense 40-minute set. So short, but just so good. And then Dean Lewis also played on Friday. He's definitely one to watch. A really great singer-songwriter in the vein of Ed Sheeran, but he also sings kind of more heartbreaking songs that Ed Sheeran does. Just really exceptional. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up headlining bigger stages here someday. Really one to look out for.
Very cool.
And there's a lot more to look out for at Summerfest for Weekend 3. We'll be back with coverage from that. You can go to jsonline.com/Summerfest for more coverage. Thanks so much for watching.